I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. My name's Sherry,
I'm Jerry.
and behind the scenes is Veronica, our producer of the show. And she also comes up with some really great ideas from behind the scenes, including creating mugs for individual clubs. You can get them personalized. Bulletins we do, T-shirts, and it could be for you or clubs. Doesn't matter. Whatever you'd like on it, we can do. And we do new logos, and again, websites for any club or groups. And I'd also like to remind everybody, our catalogs for this year is 2020 to 21. So the new catalogs will not be until 2022. And so if you'd like a catalog, just call in or email us, and we'd be happy to get you a catalog.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Notice Veronica behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Look at what's behind her computer here. Did she offer you a piece of chocolate?
I haven't seen that chocolate.
What is that? I always thought it was an empty bag of chocolates and she should have offered. Okay. Did I interrupt you?
You always interrupt.
Okay.
But that's okay.
It wouldn't be me.
That's right. Wouldn't. Okay, and the next topic is our auction results. And we had the Tipplers went from, is it Nuno Milo for $150.
You got them.
Racing Pigeons, they went to Stanford Elkins for $200. And we also auctioned off APJ magazines, and those went to Mike Mouse for $150. Congratulations, everybody.
Is it time for me to interrupt you again?
Probably.
Okay. Mike, you got some real nice magazines. I'm going to have some more in the future, but they started, hard to believe, will be 100 years old in a couple of more years. They started in 1922. Go right through 1930. So the next auction or the auction after that, I'll have another collection. And Mike, if you're interested, I'd be willing to sell all of them to one person. I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of old APJ magazines. The other thing is, I forgot what I was going to say.
See, that's why you shouldn't interrupt.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Well, it came back
Go ahead.
to me.
You're going to interrupt me again. Okay, go ahead.
Some way, somehow, it got back to us that some people are, I'm not sure what, opposed to this show or something, and trying to report us for having illegal auctions. I don't know what the heck that means, but I wanted to reinforce the fact that the auctions we have for pigeons and merchandise all go 100% to charities. As a company, Foy's actually loses a little bit of money. We make nothing on it. So whoever's got their dander up about Foy's having auctions, I think it's silly, and we're not making a penny off of it. So if you have a problem, call Foy's and ask for Kim or Gina, and maybe express your opinions as to what you think we're doing wrong. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Veronica's shaking her head back there. Go ahead. Mine on or you on?
No, I'm going to remind everybody, or let everybody know, our natural container came in. So a lot of the products that from Natural that we've been out of is back in stock. So you can get on the website or give us a call and place your orders for the items that you've been waiting for.
May I interrupt?
Yeah, go ahead.
The company Natural is from Belgium. Natural makes all of the supplements, the vitamins and the grits and the floor covering. They're owned by a parent company called Hospice Law. Now, Hospice Law makes all the feeders and drinkers and traps and different things like that. We call them hard goods. So if you've tried to order them in the past, I think they're posted now. I know a lot of the product I saw going out that people had ordered previously. Did I interrupt you?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Would you like to take over now since you've interrupted me so many times?
No, is it what it says I'm supposed to take over?
No.
No?
No, but you interrupt so many times.
I won't, I
but-
promise I won't interrupt you again for the whole show.
Yeah, you will, because you'll explain all this. And the next topic is our, I had a gentleman that called in. You're gonna ask me, how do you know he was a gentleman?
No, that's an inside joke. Every time there's a call for me, and Sherry, been with us for 16 years, would say to me, there's a gentleman on the line. And I would always say, well, how the hell do you know he's a gentleman? He might be an old grouch or something. Well, how do you know she's a lady? We don't know that. But anyway, that's an inside joke.
Okay. Well, anyway, we had a gentleman call in, and a while ago, I don't know how long ago, we had breeding programs and like different programs that we had. So we looked into it and we updated them, and so they will be available at no cost. And it's for breeding, fancy bird, pre-breeding, a molting program, pre-racing or roller program, or just a racing program. And those are available free of charge.
You interrupt?
It's all you.
Those programs are put together by a veterinarian. His name is Okert Bofa from South Africa. He's a pigeon breeder and a manufacturer of pigeon-related products. So Dr. Bosa spent a lot of time on them. So we've got questions like this, or at least I get a lot of them, is what should I be doing? And is there some sort of program I can put my birds on? So they're free, or it's usually one page, double-sided. So if you need any kind of program like Sherry just read off, we've got them ready for you.
Okay, it's your turn.
Oh, my turn.
Your turn.
You've
Take
done
it
a hell of-
away.
You've done a hell of a
Take it
job.
away
Take it
there.
away. Okay. Are we going to be able to see the calls on the screen, or you? Okay, not calls, but questions. I invite you and encourage you, if you have a question that's related to pigeons or chickens, be more than happy to answer you. All you have to do is send that question in via Facebook. It'll show up on the screen, and we will answer the question for you. And as I've said before, questions like you ask are important to not us, just us. They're important to other breeders because they probably have this exact same questions too. So there is a question up there.
Okay. This is, are you going to have more African owls in an auction? This is from Olympia.
Olympia, and you can answer back, but I think you're the lady. There was a bit of a confusion. We had a beautiful pair of African owls, and somehow, some way, you thought, and we probably were wrong, that you had won the bid. So I called Tim a few weeks ago, and I think this week, we received a beautiful pair of African owls. So what I would suggest you do is call me. We're not going to put them up for auction. I ordered them, at least unless you don't want them. Ordered is the wrong word. Tim was gracious enough to send me another pair. So if you are looking for a beautiful pair of African owls, still call me after the show at Foy's, and we'll talk to you about them. So thanks, Olympia. Hope that. But if the question, I suppose, if Olympia is not that lady, then we will have birds up for auction. We got so many nice birds coming in.
Oh, yeah, they are pretty.
We got people ask me. I know right now we have some beautiful racing pigeons, top quality. They were all bred by Heber Nelson, who is the top flyer in the Pittsburgh and Penn, Ohio Penn Combine. So if you're looking for some great racing pigeons, they're coming. We also have a pair of African owls. We have a pair of rollers, but not just any rollers, and I can't even pronounce the word, but we will have those coming in the future. I got an email from John DiCarlo, president of the National Pigeons Association. He's sending me some pigeons, so future auctions are going to be really some great birds, so you stay tuned. Now, we do have a question. Do you want to handle that?
This is from Tasha. It says, Foy's Pigeon Supplies. Thank you. I have recently purchased the doxycycline 20% for pigeons. Is it possible to administer a dosage just to one bird? Let's say one of my Modinas instead of filling a whole water dispenser. Could I just manually administer a certain amount to the bird via syringe, just so that I know they are getting the medication? The dosage would have to be a lot less, of course, than the standard amount on the bottle. Thanks again.
It's a question that I get certainly on a fairly regular basis at home. It's a tough one to answer. I cannot come up with a formula to use a dropper because it's so small. What I tell people, generally speaking, the doxycycline is 1 teaspoon to a gallon of water. So if you cut that off in half, it's a half a teaspoon to half a gallon. It's 1/8 of a teaspoon to a quarter a gallon. So we're down to a quart. So what I would suggest you do is use anywhere between 1/8 and 1/4 teaspoon in a quart, mix it up and put it in the refrigerator overnight if you want, but use it that day and you'll be able to keep it for 3 days. I know you're going to waste some of it, but to treat just one bird, it's hard to bring it all the way back and dilute it down to less than 1/8. So what I would suggest you do, another suggestion, is one, make the small amount in the quart, put it in the refrigerator, use it for 3 days. There's absolutely no harm if you have a bird that is in need of doxycycline. You probably have segregated that bird, but what you might want to also do is make a gallon at a time or half a gallon at a time. While you're treating the one Modena, treat the rest of them. Most respiratory problems are contagious from bird to bird. So if that bird was drinking water or eating or in the loft with other birds, it might be a good idea as a preventative method. You don't hear me talk about that too much because I'm not a believer in trying to prevent. But in this particular case, it might be a good idea to treat all of the birds that were in that, at least in that section. Hope I've helped you out.
Okay, we have another question. This is from Alex. Actually, it's 2 questions. I just noticed.
Are we allowed to do that? Shouldn't it be one question at a time?
Well, I'll just let him slide.
You can let him slide?
Yeah. Hey, it's all right. It's okay, Alex.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I noticed one of my pigeons vomiting, and it seems to be drinking excessive amounts of, of water. Any idea what that might be, and what should I do? And then the other one is, I am new to chickens. I have a few hens and a rooster. The hens are laying, but none of them will warm their eggs. Any suggestions?
Yeah, that's a pretty simple one. In order for chickens to raise young baby chicks, they have to be like a dog, a female dog, in season, so to speak. The word is broody. Until a pigeon becomes broody, it will not lay on the eggs to warm them, to make them hatch. So you will know when your hen, and they don't all turn broody at the same time, but usually it's going to be close. Broody hen will lay an egg and then set on it just what you're looking for over a period of time. And she will continue to lay eggs, 1, 2, 3, 4, might be 8 or 10 eggs. And she'll set them all. Mother Nature has taught her that and I don't know for sure how it's done, but if she lays 10 eggs 10 days in a row, you're not necessarily going to see them hatch one at a time. They pretty much will hatch all at the same time, or at least within 1 or 2 days. So you can't force a bird to be brooding. It's like coming into season for a deer or a female dog. So with chickens, you just have to be patient. They usually don't go broody in the wintertime unless you're heating it off and that's spending a lot of money just to get some eggs. Hope I've answered your question to your
Okay,
benefit.
you didn't answer the first question. Pay attention, Jerry.
I just can't seem to please you.
No, you can't. You gotta keep on your toes. Do you remember what the first question was?
Well, I can read it, but why don't you? I've got my glasses on. By the way, sir, folks, if you happen to find a cell phone, it's mine. I can't find my cell phone.
Okay. The first question was his pigeons. He's noticed vomiting, and it seems to be drinking excessive amounts of water. Is it either circovirus? Is that what it is? Or
Go ahead, Tom.
I
She knows
believe
her
it's
stuff.
circovirus. That's all I know.
It's either Circo
Or Dino.
Yeah, or
Dino.
Dino.
But it's a virus.
And understand, either one of us of vets were experienced 16 years and me with a measly 60 years, 70 years with pigeons. Vomiting could possibly be the result of worming your birds. There's a product, metronidazole. If you wormed your birds with metronidazole, they will vomit. It's not a harmful thing. They'll stop. That could be what it is. The other thing, she took it off the screen and I forget what it was. Oh, there it is. An excessive amount of drinking water. If it is a virus, there's no treatment. Just like we're all going through this terrible virus now, and there's no treatment. What I would suggest you do is, we still have the NutriDrops for racing owners.
Yes, the racing ones.
But I would suggest you get the NutriDrops for racing pigeons and put it in a drinking water. Even though it says for racing pigeons, a pigeon is a pigeon is a pigeon, in my opinion, because they're the same. So what I would suggest is you get some NutriDrops, and the suppliers of NutriDrops have dropped their main product. We don't know why, but we can't get it anymore. We still have some of the racing pigeon NutriDrops in stock. They may be able to keep, maybe they're going to keep those. We just don't know. So what I'm going to suggest is you purchase the NutriDrops, which go in the drinking water. Then, if you have them or if you don't have it, order amoxicillin. Put the two products together, amoxicillin, 1 teaspoon to a gallon, and the NutriDrops as directed. Mix them together and give them for 10 to 14 days. I think that will help. It's not. It isn't a cure. What it does is it boosts the immune system to prevent it from spreading, and it will greatly reduce the time that the birds are suffering from that vaccine.
Okay.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I want you folks to know, Veronica, Sherry, and myself spent almost an hour producing a whole agenda. And what I love about it is you keep asking questions, and we can use this agenda next week.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good idea.
Okay, well, we'll take Phil, and then you continue to send in the questions if you like. But we're going to take a little bit of time to talk about breeding.
Okay, and this is any idea of a vaccination for Circo, now or in the future? Right now, treatment seems to be to prevent the secondary disease. And let it pass. Oh, geez. We have a bee flying around in
Oh.
here.
I didn't see
So
it.
that's why I was kind of like, ooh.
Oh, yeah, there it is. You allergic to bees?
No, but I don't want to be bit by one anyway.
Okay, Phil is a regular viewer, and I sure do appreciate for helping us make this show even better. It's odd, when I was answering the last question, it's not gonna land.
It's a stink bug.
Oh, it's a stink bug. Okay, if you kill it, you'll smell it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was answering the last question and something popped into my mind. Understand, I'm not a veterinarian, nor is anybody on our staff. And our suggestions are merely suggestions and or opinions. But we sell the PMV vaccine and we sell the paratyphoid vaccine. I'm only talking about the PMV vaccine, which is for the PMV virus. I have talked to people who are very knowledgeable, and they suggest using the PMV vaccine. It is for a virus. Not all viruses. Paratyphoid is not a virus, it's a bacterial infection. So I would, if the birds are really valuable to you, because the vaccines are not inexpensive. One bottle is around 100 and what? You happen to know?
$139
So it's
for 100
$139. It'll do 100 shots, but the vaccine, if they've never been vaccinated, you need to do it twice. Once and then about 3 or 4 weeks later again. I think you will see some positive results. Keep records of what you're doing, and if it works for you, next year, let's say the vaccine, the virus leaves, and so you're successful. So what I would suggest, you keep records as to which birds got 2 shots. Next year or 6, is it 6 months or a year?
It's a year.
Okay, next year, they only get 1 shot. And if that works, let me know, so I can pass it on to other folks. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for watching. May I interrupt?
You go right ahead.
There's a fan in Baltimore. And Baltimore used to have a professional football team.
I'm staying out of this.
So the Pittsburgh, here we go, Steelers.
Here we go.
Kick butt. No excuses. Baltimore said they had some problems and their quarterback wasn't there. But we all have issues and problems. But
There's that but.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Baltimore Ravens have 6 wins. Well, they have more losses than they have wins. We feel so bad for them. But what is our record? Do you happen to remember?
11 and 0.
Yeah, 11 wins and no losses. So the fact that Baltimore no longer has a professional football team, at least not that I would call professional, we feel sorry
Better be
for
glad you're
you.
here and not at a show.
Yeah.
And there's
but-
no Lancaster show this year.
So anyways, I just wanted to say, give my best to Baltimore. Another thing I wanted to mention, because it's getting warm, and I wore this shirt or jacket just for that reason. There's a story to this jacket too. Sometimes my big mouth gets me in trouble.
Yeah?
We were at a Steeler game a number of years ago. I think it was me and Kim, and I'm not sure. And I'm walking by this store and I see a jacket just like this. I said to the girl that was working there at the store, I says, and my big mouth, I says, if you had a size small, because nobody sells size small, it's hard to find. I says, if you had a size small, I'd buy one. And I'm walking away, excuse me, sir. We do have a small.
Oh, I bet you that was an
So-
expensive small.
$300 later, I have an official Steeler jacket. Now, I want to tell you another story. Anything you want to say?
No, you're just doing a great job. Fine job.
I think you're doing a great job, and I think you folks should encourage Sherry and tell her what a great job she's doing. Let me button this. Got my belly sticking out. This shirt was bought by my mother 32 years ago. My mother's been passed away now for, I think, around 20 years. So she bought it for me 32 years ago. So in honor of my mother, I don't do it on Mother's Day. I just do it once a year. I wear a shirt, this shirt, 32 years. When I get done with it, I put it back in the closet. And a year from now, something in that time frame, I'll wear it again. It's an interesting story, don't you think?
Well, while you're on that
Subject.
yeah, why don't you, as you notice, Jerry tries to wear a hat every week, a different one. Well, we're running out of hats, so.
Wouldn't it be great if you had your parents' hat, or, many years ago, all the folks wore hats. So if you got an old raggedy hat or some theme hat, if you want to send it in to me at no charge, and you pay your postage, we'll wear it, but we'll mention your name or whatever you want us to mention that I'm wearing it. But a lot of people think I'm bald and I wear a hat. I'm not bald, with my own hair.
You know who I was thinking of when you're talking about hats? Oh, I can't think of his name right off.
At the Lancaster show?
Yes.
Barry.
Barry, that's it. You'll have to find out where he gets his hats.
No, his hats are good. If you've ever been to the Lancaster Pigeon show and Barry is there, he wears the goofiest damn hats I've ever. They're not really.
But you know what?
They're like dolls.
I know, but I look forward every year to see what hat he's going to have on.
Well, maybe Barry's watching and he'll send us.
Yeah. Or let us know where he gets them.
We might mention that we did start late, and as most of you know this, we started late. So we're not locked in that we have to get off the air at 4:00. We'll get off the air when we damn well please.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, as Jerry said, we were going to talk about breeding and our first product.
You may want to get a pencil and paper.
Like backwards. Yeah.
No, you don't have to worry about it. It's not backwards.
It was. I had it turned back. And what's the pencil and paper for?
Well, for the folks to write this down, because we're talking about it, and they'll say, gee, I wish I had, see, now I'm delaying you a little bit. I wish I could, can you see the people now running into the kitchen looking for a pen and paper? Oh, you took my paper with you, with my pencil. So we're giving them a little bit of time.
Okay. Well, I hope everybody does. And nobody, I bet everybody's going to laugh at me because I have cheaters. Mm-hmm. I wear glasses. But I have to put glasses over top to see close.
They make something called bifocal.
I know. But for now, I have cheaters. So this is our multivite powder. It's by Aviomed. And
well, how about we do this?
Okay.
I'll do this and you hold it up.
All right, that's better yet. You can see better. Okay, there we go.
That is made, you heard me talking about Dr. Bosa. And Dr. Bosa is the manufacturer or the veterinarian who produced this product as well as other products. And it's probably, if you're looking for an all-round good breeding product, it's multivite. And it got all the supplements and minerals that a bird is going to need during breeding season. It also affects the bird's feather. When they're breeding, they have a tendency to get because they're putting a lot of energy into it, so it's good during molting season also. And it's kind of easy to use. We suggest you use it 2 or 3 times a week. The disadvantage, it's not a real disadvantage, but one of the reasons people don't buy it as much as they should, because it's the best we have, and it's something I don't say very often. Would you not agree? When people ask me for the best, and I always say there is no best.
That's right.
And if there was a best, that's the only thing we'd sell.
That's exactly right.
But a lot of people don't want to apply anything to their feed, because you have to weigh your feed or at least measure your feed. You have to wet it with a little bit of water or some sort of vegetable oil or one of the oils we sell. Multi-breed, great product. You can put that down now.
Okay.
The next one is Ultimate. You know what Ultimate means? the best.
But there is no best, right?
There is no best unless you're using it, and you'll call us and tell us, man, that's the best product I ever used. And I do get answers like that. So anyways, Ultimate Elixir is made by Dr. Pigeon. In fact, there's Dr. Pigeon right there. Old friend, was a member of the Mensa Society, if you know what that is. Just made him, him and his sister were geniuses. And he came up with these formulas. And one day I said, Muir, his real name is Muir Noggle, he's passed away. And he says, how in the hell do you come up with all of this stuff? And where do you get it? He says, Jerry, everything I sell, you can go to your local grocery store and buy it. He said, but the key is the combination of the products and how much to do with each. But it's just amazing. Turn it. I think they can see that. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, there it is. I wanted to show you these ingredients. I can't tell you how many ingredients, but there have to be at least 30, 40 different ingredients to that. Ultimate Elixir comes in this size, which is a quart, and also comes in gallons. It's great for fertility. That's why we're talking about it. It's breeding season. If not, a lot of people think, you notice I bounce around a little bit.
I think I'm used to it.
Oh, after 16 years, you're damn well better. But people wait until they put the birds together to do something for breeding season. You should start 2 or 3 weeks before you actually start breeding. A lot of times I talk about putting birds together. What that means is for people who separate their hens and their cocks and then start putting them together for breeding season, you should start your medication 1 or 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks, I think is better. No, medication is a long word. Your supplementation to prepare the birds for the breeding. So it's great for fertility, goes a long ways, makes 1 teaspoon to a gallon. So you can imagine this is going to last you a long time. It does not have an expiration date. You wouldn't believe how many people buy. We have it in a gallon size. We sell gallons all the time. We're always making them. We make Dr. Pigeon's products because before he died, him and I were good friends. We worked out a program while he still was alive and still well enough to make the products. I said, why don't you do this? We'll come out there and we'll pick up all of the products you have. You give us all the formulas. Sound crude, I suppose. I said, so when up until the day you pass away, every product you make, we will pay for. Pay exactly what we paid for you when you were in good health. So, and then when you pass away, we'll start making it. And that's how we ended up with the product line. Okay, fertility tablets.
You're out of sync.
Am I on?
I know, you're out
I'm out of
sync.
sync. What's the next one?
That would be breeding edge.
Oh,
That is right.
You saw that, and you don't even have your cheaters on.
I know.
All right, breeding edge. We've had that in stock for a long time. Company been making this for many years. It's mainly for fertility, which just kind of reminds me, if you've had fertility in the problems in the past, or you have 1 or 2 birds that seem to be infertile, the next product we're going to talk about. But we haven't talked about that one yet. No, pick that one back up.
Oh, this
You
one?
weren't listening to me.
Oh, you said next.
Else.
That's probably right. I'm not going to deny that.
Okay, it's called Breeding Edge. It's got all the ingredients, amino acids and minerals and vitamins and so forth. When I bought Foy's 21 years ago, Claire Hepner was the owner, and he tells the story. He had a bird 17 years old that had stopped breeding. He used Breeding Edge over a period of time. And at the time he wrote in his last catalog, he'd already bred 2 rounds from this 17-year-old crop. So if you have old birds and maybe you're concerned, when I say old, we're talking 8 years and above old, you may want to consider trying this product to bring back the fertility of those birds. I'm done.
And
This is a
next.
two-fisted product, isn't it?
Two.
Two-fisted, okay. These are tablets. They don't come in liquid form or powdered form. They're individual tablets for birds that you have had an issue with in the past or they're getting of age where they're not a problem, but you want them to continue to breed. It comes in a hen and it comes in a cock size. So individual tablets to increase the possibility of fertilizing eggs from older birds. And why don't we stop here and see what Russ has to say?
Okay. Well, hey, Russ. Jerry, we talked on the phone several times about my rollers. Cock in one coop and hens in another coop. I lost another bird, a hen. I lost a bird about every 6 weeks. This time she will not eat, weak on one leg, bush up like cold or
Bunch of
molding.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know what's wrong. 3 birds in the past 18 weeks.
It's a tough one. I remember talking to him. It's so difficult. The only thing I can't give you an answer for sure, assuming you've used some of the products that we have. What I would suggest, the next time it happens, put the bird in a plastic Ziploc bag and put it in the refrigerator. Cool it down. Call me. Hopefully it'll be a Monday or a Tuesday, or a Sunday, Monday, or a Tuesday. And Sunday you can't mail. I will tell you where to mail the bird at the University of Penn State. And they are experienced. We've sent birds to them over a number of years, and they will tell us what is wrong. I have no other answer because we've tried and you've been very patient with me, and I think I've done some guessing. Evidently my guessing is wrong. So if you want, you can call me, we can discuss it again, Russ, or you can't send a bird after Wednesday because if they get them on a Thursday or a Friday, there's a good chance they won't get to the bird right away and it'll be decomposing. So they only want you to mail them to them on a Monday, a Tuesday, Wednesday at the very latest. They have to be sent overnight. If you need more information, give me a call.
Okay, and this is Raymond. When are you going to have another John Hepner's English Carrier auction?
It's just crazy how coincidences. I was sitting at my desk last night doing some work, and John Hepner is working on a book. I think he's almost done. And I was going through my records and I saw that John Hepner gave us some birds, I think in 2018. And you've reminded me, Ramon, I will contact him and see if it's possible for him to contribute some more birds. So why don't you call me next week sometime or call Foy's. And they'll tell you, you can call my home phone if you don't have it. So what my suggestion is, I was just looking up there. We were talking about pre-breeding, about sending the birds to Penn State. No,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you go back, please? When are you going? Okay, when are you going to have? You call me next week. I'll have made a call to John. And if I can get a hold of them, I'll ask them to continue or consider sending me birds. Would you write me a note to do that, please, Veronica? Okay.
All right. Well, this is from Cal
That's Maine language.
Gagne.
Yeah, that's my sister.
Hi, Jerry. Your favorite sister from says hi. Great job, Sherry. Woohoo! Thanks.
Charlene has been my sister almost all her life.
I hope so.
But Charlene has been called Cal. A lot of people call her Shell. As most of you know, I'm born and raised in Maine, in the town of Biddeford. Charlene now lives close to Portland, and we stay in contact. But her favorite sister, Sistah, that's
Sister.
Maine, just like in Maine, pizza is pizza, car is car, horse is horse. We talk funny up there, and she still does talk that way. But her real sister is my wife. Figure that one out. I'm just kidding. My sister, Charlene, is as close as two women can ever be. So Charlene and Vicky, my wife, call each other sisters.
Yeah.
When Charlene
That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to.
when Charlene calls or Vicky calls her, I know I can do anything for the next 2 or 3 hours. And that, I'm not kidding. They're on the phone for 2 or 3 hours. I don't even know what the hell they talk about for that long. Do you?
Probably
they're
you.
talking about me.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Shirley.
See how fast I answered that. Hi, Elmer. This question, Jerry, what is the best food for doing hand feeding?
All right, Elmer, in our catalog, and I don't know what page, there is a formula that you can make, which includes egg yolks and cream of wheat. So you'll find it in there. But if you're going to hand feed, this is just for maybe the first 10 days, because then eventually you'll switch over to small grain. But the pigeons can't digest the first few days. They can't digest corn or peas or any grains. If you ever get up close and personal with a pigeon that's feeding its babies at the very first few days, there's no grains at all. It's all what we call pigeon milk. Now, a way to replicate the pigeon milk is a combination of egg yolk, cream of wheat, and warm water. So if you go through the catalog, it is in there. We also sell a product for Vionate. Is it Vionate product?
No, it's Formula 3 and
Okay. Yeah, there's another product in the
there's a
catalog,
couple.
but if you don't want to buy a product, we'll look. If you can't find it, call for Sherry after the show. I feel like President-elect Biden. If you watch him, I watched him last night and I thought he did a great job, but he has the same problem I do. He gets stuck on a word and then it goes back. Don't hold that against him. That's just part of getting old. He's old, but I hope he'll do a good job.
Okay, another question. This is from Nuno. When you start breeding rollers, how many rounds I should do before I separate them?
Great question. Great. These are kind of questions that I'm sure other people watching the show, we literally have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people watching this show. And we're so proud of that. But we've discussed this a little bit before. My suggestion is 3 rounds. That doesn't sound like a lot, but breeding pigeons, when they're mating, there's a lot of stress. He's chasing her. She's running away from him. He wants her to get in the nest. They need to build a nest. Just the whole process of breeding is stressful. So when you breed past 3, 4 rounds, let's say 3, the bird's immune system is weakened tremendously. And that's when they're susceptible to disease. So 3 rounds is not a lot of stress. You get past that and it's stressful. And a lot of people want to get as many young from their breeders as they can. Not a good idea, because with a weakened immune system, sickness comes.
For trouble.
And those birds, if you're still breeding, whether it's rollers, homers, doesn't matter, those parents, when they're going to get a disease because of their weakened immune system, who do you think gets it next? The babies. That's absolutely right. A pigeon is born with an immune system that they inherit from their parents, but it's not as strong as what they'll develop themselves. So my suggestion strongly is just do it for 3 times.
Okay, and the next question is Dana. Do most fanciers value their birds at $50 to $75 each?
No. The price is based on the person, of course, the person that's selling it and the quality of the bird. I'll give you, this is an extreme example, Dana. A man in China bought one bird, a breeder, $1.2 million. 50 to 75 is probably a range, but I know people that would never consider selling a bird for less than $100 each, $200 for the pair. If you see our birds that we offer on each show at auction, the least expensive, usually the least expensive per bird is $75. In the auction we just closed today, we sold a pair of homers for $200, and we sold a pair of Tipplers, $175.
150, I think.
150. So $50 is on the low end. But saying that, you can go to a local fairgrounds in our area, Rogers, Ohio, and you can buy birds for $2 a piece, $5 a piece. Every once in a while, they're actually good birds. So it's really an interaction between the buyer and the seller. The seller wants as much as he can get. The buyer wants to spend as little as they have to. I guess if I could leave with anything, buy birds from people you trust. And go in their loft, and if their loft is a dirty mess, then you may want to reconsider buying from them. But buy from people you trust. Buy from people who show birds. In order to show birds, they have to have good birds. They have to have healthy birds. And so they spend a lot of time doing that. I hope I answered your question okay. Boy, a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that was the last
No
one.
more questions, Veronica. Gee, that was the time. Okay, we're going to go back to
We are on Triodine.
Triodine. A lot of people will remember, the old suckers like me, that they used iodine. And iodine is the medication for bruises and cuts, and it's what we had a long, long time ago. But many people will call me during breeding season, and they say they have babies that are starting to peck through the shell, pipping we call it, and they can't get out and they die in the shell. Now, sometimes that's a disease called paratyphoid, but many times it's not. And the birds get very tired trying to break through a thick shell, and they die trying to get through it, so they die in the shell. This is something you may want to consider. It's a little dropper bottle. I'm reading it myself because I haven't used it in a long time. You're going to add it to the drinking water, and it'll give the birds enough of a boost to break through that shell. So it's a good product. Let's see. It's suggested during breeding season, and while you have young in the nest, especially very young ones, give it to them 2 or 3 times a week. That helps.
Okay.
You think they all got their pens and paper?
I hope so.
Could you talk for the next 15 minutes? I'm losing my breath.
Well, you interrupted me so many times, and you're just doing such a fantastic job, and we only have one more left.
Pat me on the back, please. Thank you. Thank you. I feel a lot better.
Okay.
Can I take a sip of water?
Oh, yeah, I did. And I hadn't even talked.
You have water right there, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Okay.
The next
The
one we're
last
going to talk
one.
about is
Vertical.
vertical is on this page. There it is not.
I'm trying to pay.
On this page? There it is.
Oh, there. I knew it was somewhere.
I hope you're not finding fault with me having to read this, but we have so many products and I can't use them all the time, so I kind of forget. Vertical is a powder, once again, produced by Dr. Bolta in South Africa. Look at that, that cut me off. When I come over here, I'm close.
There you go. Getting a little closer.
The professional. Vertical, a powder that's used as a breeding supplement If Dr. Bolsa makes it, I trust it. It's to enhance performance, which means performance of the male in producing. They sell that stuff on radio all the time now. Don't you enhance it for men?
I think so.
Well, this is for pigeons to enhance the performance of the male, and what it's going to do is create better fertility. So if you use it start before breeding season and use it through breeding season.
Okay,
And it's
excuse
another
me,
one.
Can I interrupt you?
Can I think about it?
No.
Okay.
You said is it just for the cocks?
No, it's for both.
Okay.
But one of the benefits, it does enhance the value of the
Like
cockbird's
Viagra.
sperm.
Yeah.
Were you allowed to say that word?
I don't know. It's
We
too late
just
now.
did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it's a little bit harder to use to some, but the little bit of extra energy, I think you'll find great results. You have to mix it, directions with water, and you make it into a slurry, like a paste, not a thick paste, but like porridge,
Like slime?
oatmeal.
How about like the young kids today with the slime?
Yeah, you mix it and then you put it on the feed. You mix up your feed, which brings to mind. Thank you. You can put that down, madam.
Okay.
Thank you. Now I forgot what I was going to say. People don't like to use products on their feed because you have to measure your feed. And that's the point I was going to make. The average person who knows nothing, when they go out to feed their birds, if they got a trough to put the feeder in, they fill it up. And you go back the next day and there's feed all over the floor. What should you do?
Well, I know somebody that taught me when I had to take care of his birds, and it took everything I had because I just hated to do it, but you don't give them no feed until it's all gone.
Yep.
And that was very hard for me to do.
Well, I know for a fact that this time of the year in cold weather, they're not going to eat the corn and they're not going to eat the peas. They're going to eat everything else and leave the corn and peas.
Now, can I interrupt you?
Yes, you may.
And why is that when they tell you, was I counting how many times you interrupted me?
Well, I'm counting twice you've interrupted me. I'm keeping count now.
All right. Well, anyway, they tell you to feed your pigeons corn in the wintertime because of body fat. Now you're saying they won't eat the corn. So why should you buy?
Well, pigeons are like children.
They're picky.
You give them a treat and they're going to eat the treat first. Like in Europe, did you know in Europe that when you go to a restaurant and get your meal,
you get the dessert first.
You get the dessert first. Well, with pigeons, they're going to eat the stuff they like, the safflower and some of the other seeds that are in there. So you have to force them to eat the corn.
And that's when you don't give them nothing.
That's right. So what I tell people to do is if you go in there, just like you said, and there's feed either in a tray or on the floor, and this happened to me Tuesday. I was helping a friend. I walked into his loft and there was feed all over the floor and in the feeder. So what you want to do is try to prevent that. You keep track of how much feed you give your birds. So if you go in the next day and there's feed there, cut back, cut back, cut back until they eat all the feed within a half an hour or so. And if you walk back in a half an hour or the next day, if you walk in that day, you pull the feed. Tomorrow, they're going to be hungry. They get the same feed they didn't eat. They'll be hungry. They'll eat most of it. And if you've overdone it and you fed them so much, it's going to be all over the place. So your best bet is control the amount of feed. Figure out roughly how much feed they're going to eat in a day, and that's what you're going to give them. And it's going to change during breeding season. They're going to eat more. And the diet will change too. So did I talk enough about that?
Yeah. Good job.
You know what? It's 4:15. Thank you. Good job.
You know what else you forgot?
What? Oh, yeah. Well, I hope people haven't walked away from the TV from our show, because we've gone over the time, but what did we
We
start? 20
started
minutes
late.
late or something like that? Okay. What I wanted, and I had notes, isn't it great? Next week's 2 week show, by the way, we want to know what the date is. Veronica asked me to talk about this Nest box because a customer called in and wanted to see it. Is that basically what it was, Veronica? Okay. Can you move the camera, or are you going to have to do it, or put it over here?
Should I turn it a little bit? There it is.
Okay. You have to move it up a little bit. All right. This is the Nest box that we sell. You can't see the bottom. Okay.
What? Oh. Where?
Professionals at Force, thank you. Now put it back down. You're good. This is our Nest box. I'm going to hold it up just so you see it all, okay? It will handle a standard 12 this way, 24 this way. The Nest box itself is a little bit bigger than this. It has to be 12 by 24 because if you want to put a nest rod in, that's what we make. So here's the way it works. Basically, the bird lands here and goes in, hen and cock, whichever it is. And if you want to lock them up for whatever reason, let's say you want to use it as a sick bay and you put one bird in here and you want to treat it, well, you can do that too. You can wire your drinker or feeder here however you want to do it. It comes with the buttons. Now, let's say you want to clean the nest box. All you do is turn the buttons and the nest front comes right out. Inside is where your nest bowl is going to be. I put this in because it's winter time and a lot of people aren't aware maybe that we sell these. This isn't for every pair you've got. But if you've got a really special pair and you want to breed from them in the winter and it's cold, this is a heated nest bowl. Doesn't get so hot that it's going to bother the eggs of the babies, but it goes in there, you plug it in, and you've got a heated nest bowl. People ask me, what are these little sticks here for? And this is the only scraper I use. And what it does is, instead of trying to clean it out, you put your scraper here, and all the way in the back, and you do it this way. And this is to allow your scraper to come all the way out. If this went all the way down, you'd stop here, and you have a collection of droppings, which is not good. So what you want to do is you're pulling the droppings to you. With the other hand scrapers, you're pushing, picking up and pulling. So this is the scraper I use. Did you want to add something to that?
I just didn't know if you wanted to tell them the price.
Yep. Okay. So we sell these fully assembled. You don't have to do a thing. You can buy it without any nest front, or you can buy it with a nest front. To be perfectly frank, I do not use a nest front in my loft. I use just the box. A lot of people say, well, won't the babies fall out? No, won't happen. Very, very, very frequent. I don't even remember the last time a baby fell out. So if you want it this way, you can use it this way. We sell the nest front. You can see how easy that goes in. Go ahead and make full ones up. There you go. You can get, this is a left-hand door. We also sell it in a right-hand door and a center door. And people say, well, why would you do that? Well, personally, when I stack all of my nest boxes one on top of the other, what I want to do is stagger the nest boxes, because occasionally a male will fly up, and if they're all center, for instance, he gets a little confused and he might go in the wrong nest box and create havoc with the hen or the cock, or a big fight follows, and then maybe young would be thrown out in that particular case. So I would, if I were you and you're buying a number of these, you buy equal amount of lefts, rights, and centers. I mean, that way there's less of a possibility of a bird cockbird getting in there. Okay?
Okay, and I have one more question
We
before.
take 10 more questions. Would you tell them how much they owe?
Well, why, certainly. I'm gonna put my cheaters back on. Okay, we have, I'm gonna find them.
They're not there.
Am I missing it?
There's the large and just have to.
Oh, here we go. It would be the standard. It would be called the All-American Nest Box with fronts. You can buy one for $64, 3 for $182, or 12 for $700. You can always also buy them without the fronts, which one is $50. 3 of them is $143, and 12 for $520. We also do carry them in a large size also.
Great job you did on that.
I know, I'll tell you. I can't stand
I
it.
was gonna maybe consider trying to do this show by myself.
Oh, you can just keep on considering that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. That's just fun. When you're talking about nest fronts, I've noticed this and I encourage it. If you have a friend who's a carpenter or you're a decent man with a hammer and nail, order one. Use it as a sample and then make your own. Because all it is plywood.
Yeah.
You know, so they're not hard to make. The reason I tell you that is we do sell a lot of them, but they're
shipping.
expensive to ship because of their size. In fact, I'm considering possibly, oh, you're not on there you go. I'm considering maybe in the next catalog to sell them knocked down so that they're not put together, but they'll be drilled so that you know where to put the nails and so forth. So I'm thinking about that. Nuno's back.
Okay. Where I live, I have a bad hawk problem. On your experience, what's the best time to fly your pigeons?
Well,
Well,
the question begs to be answered in this way. Do not let your birds out
the same
at the
time.
same time. Because,
I knew that.
yeah, I was going to ask you, why do you do that?
Because a hawk will get used to coming that same time. So if you let them out maybe in the morning one time, maybe the next day do it in the evening, the next day do it in the afternoon, just switch it up. And I don't know if you were, was it the last show we had?
Yep.
We had a trap that was, we displayed for purposes for catching a hawk. You're not allowed to kill them, but if you do catch them in the trap, can take them a good ways away from your area and then release them somewhere else.
This time of the year, hawks are much more of a problem because
The weather.
and they can't find food.
Mhm.
So they're looking to get anything. So as Sherry explained, you have to stagger it. Another thing, with this new trap, when we just got it in this year, within the last 6 months or less.
Yeah.
We brought this trap in. The way it works, and we did discuss it on one of our past shows, it's a maybe 36, 38 inches long. In the center, you can open the door and put a live bird in it, or 2 live birds, and then you close the top of it. It's all wire. Then what happens is when a hawk attacks a bird, a live bird, it can't touch that bait bird or 2 bait birds. It sees it and is trying to get to it. I've seen this happen. A hawk, if you've got this trap on a platform or on the ground, a hawk will land usually on the trap. And they're not stupid. They're trying to figure out how to get to that pigeon or 2 pigeons as bait. So they'll jump down onto the ground and they'll walk all the way around it, trying to figure out how do I get in there? There's my dinner. There's 2 openings where eventually they found another way to get at those bait birds. So they'll come into the trap. They can either come on the backside or the front side. There's two ways to get in there. They'll get in, they can't get out. Doesn't kill them, catches them live, doesn't hurt them. They still can't get to the bait birds. All the bait birds will go crazy. And then you've got a hawk. And as Sherry said, don't kill that hawk. You pay a fine. But if you have a pickup truck or whatever, make a wire or a little hook to pick it up, put it in the back of the truck, take it down the road, let the bird out.
I heard that you have to take it pretty good ways because they'll come back.
Yeah, they're territorial.
Yeah.
Well, Sherry, we made it. I didn't even think we'd have a show.
I know.
But having a professional person,
Veronica, should we turn the camera around and show who Veronica is? I think we should.
You know what? Two things. So you can sit here if you don't mind, or you can leave. You're yawning.
No, I'm not. She turned the camera off so
Oh.
they wouldn't see.
Can they see us? We can't see anything anymore. Okay.
Oh, well, it's on.
Okay. One thing. If you are interested in donating some good birds, we sure would appreciate it. The National Pigeons Association is part of the National Pigeon Fight, I guess is the best word. There's a program's the right word. There's a group who are got as far as the federal government, and a proposal is coming unless we can stop it. You won't be able to keep pigeons legally anywhere in the United States. So the National Pigeon Association, along with the AU, American Racing Pigeon Union, International Pigeon Federation, and others, we have hired, AU hired them, and we're supporting that. What's the word? Lobbyist.
That's it.
A lobbyist, an attorney, and he is battling to prevent this program from going forward. It's still a couple of years away. My point being, if you would be so kind to support our auctions or send me birds at Foy's, as long as they're good banded birds, we'll auction them off. All the money we're going to be raising for the next year or two is all the money we raise through auctions is going to go into a fund to fight this potential disaster and not being able to keep pigeons.
But is there other things too besides that? Don't you?
Yes, other animals too, but pigeons are part of it. They don't think we should have the right to keep pigeons. So when you send me birds or when you support our auctions, you're helping the Legacy Fund Trust raise the money to fight this program. So keep that in mind.
Does the Legacy Fund do other things besides that?
We normally do. We support charitable people who are in need of help with their pigeons. But for the next year or two, we're not going to do it. All the money we're going to raise is to fight the possibility of not being able to keep these birds, which we all love, and a lot of us had them all of our life. So that's the Legacy Fund Trust. The other thing is I talk a lot about calling me. If you have a question, you can call Foy's, you all know the number, or email Foy's. And if I'm here, I'll take the question. If I'm not here and I'm at home, I'm going to give you my home phone number. But please don't call me. This is Eastern time. It's about 4:30 now. Don't call me before 9 in the morning or after 5. I just can't. I get calls all day long, sometimes as many as 30 calls. So I limit it to our normal store hours, 9 to 5. So long for a while. And
you're going to tell them the phone number that you can.
Yes, and you're going to tell me the date of the next show, right? Okay. 18th? Okay, we're supposed to do that part.
And what is that?
When the next show is.
Oh, and it is right before Christmas, December 18th.
We're going to be posting some beautiful birds for the next auction. My home phone number is 724-359-5355. That's me, 724-359-5355. You don't have to leave a message. I have caller ID. So if you call me and nobody answers, when I do get home or when I get a few minutes, I'll pick up the phone and dial you back. Don't expect it, but I've called people as late as 10 o'clock at night who are out in California, which is only 7 in the evening. If I'm really backed up, I will call you after hours, but I don't take calls after hours.
All right.
I think did a good job.
All right.
And we had all of this information. We didn't use it, so we can use it next time. See you, folks.